Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Conscious Courage podcast. I am too hyped to have you here, especially on this. Sing it with me. Motivational Monday. Let's go. I am your host, Davone'a Tashae, and each week we dive into empowering topics to foster our journey towards self-healing as well as growth, or what I like to call, y'all know, internal glow up, okay? Whether you're here for the first time, congratulations, you are officially an IGU baby, or you're returning. Thank you for joining us. If you don't want to miss an episode or a surprise episode, ensure that you subscribe. All right, let's dive on into today's topic. Y'all, we are at episode 4. Today, we're talking about cultivating vulnerability. I've already touched on this in episode 1. All right, that is an area of growth that I'm continuously working on because I've been burned in the past. And we're going to touch on that today. We're going to touch on that. But first, let me go ahead and define vulnerability for you. This is not a definition from a dictionary, okay? Go out, do your own research. This is just a little something for you. Vulnerability is being open and honest about your feelings. Not only that, but your thoughts, as well as your experiences. Even if it means you might feel exposed or hurt. It's about allowing yourself to be real and authentic, even when it's uncomfortable or scary. Like, y'all, all of this that I have going on, you think I wanted to be up at 6 something in the morning to make sure that, really just to give myself enough time to woosah, be in prayer, do what I needed to do to go ahead and get here to the studio to record? Listen, I don't want to get on here sounding like this. I want to be in the bed. That's me being vulnerable and honest and authentic with y'all. But this is the reality. I'm going to do it no matter how I feel. I'm going to need you to go out there and get whatever you want to get done, no matter how you feel. Okay? Somebody needed to hear that. Now, back to the episode, y'all. Vulnerability plays a crucial role in accepting new beginnings. Remember, this month, April, we're preparing ourselves for the new beginnings. All right, y'all, we springing forth into blessings and prosperity and open doors. This is the open door season. I'm just going to proclaim it. Y'all receive it. Y'all better come in agreement with that. Catch it. Okay, so we're accepting new beginnings and forging deeper connection with oneself as well as others by fostering authenticity, also empathy, and intimacy. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we open ourselves up to the possibility of growth, transformation, and meaningful connections. And life is about connecting. As I mentioned in episode 3, life is about experiences. You will have experiences. And what's a part of experiences? Connection. All right. So accepting these new beginnings, we have to acknowledge and embrace our fears. Like, straight up, our insecurities as well, and the uncertainties, especially during times of transition, especially during times of change, and being in an environment of the unknown. Y'all, there is an episode I will drop in June. Yes, I'm just getting y'all prepared for June, baby. We still in April, but I'm getting you prepared for June. June, we're going to discuss adversity. And I'm going to start that month off, June 3rd in particular, with an episode centered around serving while melanated in the military. And I'm going to be vulnerable. I've thought about some things I want to talk about. I've thought about whether I should talk about them or not. But I'm all about integrity. I'm all about transparency. And I'm not doing this podcast simply just to do it. I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about getting you the information. I'm passionate about sharing these practical steps because I want us all to operate from that internal glow up and be our most whole self, walking in this journey of self-healing as well as growth that is near and dear to me. And how else can we get there together unless I am vulnerable? I can't be up here like my don't stink. You know what I'm saying? That's not it. Now, I'm not getting into that. I want to prepare y'all. Month of June, we talking about adversity. June 3rd, we're going to get into serving while melanated in the military. But on this episode of Vulnerability, I will address some other topics with y'all, some other examples, okay? I got something else that I can discuss. So let me go ahead and return back to this episode. There is an example that I'll share during a tour I had in Middle Georgia where, look, y'all, what y'all see on camera is who I am, depending on the environment. If the environment allows for me to be me, then I'm going to give you all of this. If I can tell that the environment is not fostered for all of this light, I also know how to be a fly on the wall, okay? And I don't lose anything. If anything, the people around me have lost the opportunity of meeting an angel, okay? They have lost the opportunity of connecting with God's daughter. They have lost an opportunity of getting this light shine in their life, okay? Now, some people might feel some kind of way about that. They might say, be yourself no matter what. Listen, through wisdom, I have learned, through experience, I won't say through wisdom, I will say through experience, I have learned that there is a time and there is a place. And this can be too much for somebody. And that's okay. I just won't bring it out. As soon as I walk out that room, oh, it's back on. Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just take it or leave it. Let me get into this tour. So I was 100% who I am, welcoming everyone. I was excited. I didn't outline this particular experience, but this was during my early 20 stages. Okay, I'm in Middle Georgia. I have my home that I bought. I'm done with school. I have a great income. I have an amazing opportunity. I'm working at staff. At this point, I may have been a staff sergeant. When I say working on staff, I'm working at MAGCOM level. It's a staff tour. I started as a senior airman, promoted to staff sergeant. I remained in place there, I think through staff sergeant, left, became a tech sergeant, came back as a tech sergeant, and then eventually promoted to master sergeant. Those promotions, and then I went ahead and commissioned. Now, all those promotions really don't have anything to do with the story. What matters for this story is at the time I was a staff sergeant. The office that I was working in, I had been in there for an extended amount of time, and there were 4 positions. Hopefully I'm remembering that right. 4 positions. And I became a permanent party, and the other positions would rotate before we were able to secure members that could remain in place for a longer amount of time. So during the rotation, you had different people come in, different rank, different background, different ethnicities, all the stuff. So that really helped develop me and my ability to work with anyone, like really fostered those interpersonal relationship skills, but also communication, right? Having a balance, flexibility. Oh my gosh, when you're the permanent party, but people are changing every 3 months, let me tell y'all. And I was on the job training. Anyway, didn't start off that way. Started off with a senior non-commissioned officer, myself, some other members. The senior non-commissioned officer went on to take another opportunity. Then that left me to backfill that role in a way, but also really leaning on other senior NCOs and field grade officers in the area, because I was a staff sergeant and there was only so much experience and so much knowledge that I had. And then having those 3 positions that were rotate in and out. Okay, y'all, kind of paint the picture that might seem complicated. My military brothers and sisters, y'all understand what I mean. One of the set of people, like the team, consisted of myself. Eventually, we had, I think, 2 tech sergeants and a master sergeant. Now, military structure, the master sergeant outranks all of us, and therefore, by their rank, they have authority. This particular office, the way it was structured, because I had most time in the office and had the rapport already in place and knew the battle rhythm of the office or the standard operating procedures, by my positional authority, I don't even know if I want to word it that way, but by position, our leader at that time really held me to the standards and the responsibility of office management, although we had a master sergeant in place. And okay, I will do as I'm told, makes it a little awkward because you have someone in here with the rank authority, but with my experience and time and the history that I had in the office and also with that leader, the position I was in as office manager did not shift over to that master sergeant. I share all this because no harm, no foul, all was well. I was vulnerable, right? I'm still my happy-go-lucky self. I have my place. Everyone is invited to come over. If I drive up to Atlanta to hang out with my homeboys, like everybody can come with me. I'm like, everybody is everybody. I'm everybody's friend. Like, we just here to have a good time. We're here to get work done. And after work is done, we're going to have us a good time. I opened my home up to this person being the master sergeant. They were going through some stressful moments at home. Also just, girl talk, whatever the case may be, going on walks, like spending time really creating a relationship centered around friendship. Let me make sure I articulate that. Friendship, okay? Heterosexual woman here. And something shifted. The dynamic in the office, being friends, and then coming into the office where our leader might give direction and I have to ensure that that direction is fulfilled, right? That we meet the expectation of our leader. And that strange dynamic of I'm the lower ranking person created, unbeknownst to me, just an odd dynamic. And so there was a time in which I thought I was being a great facilitator. Shot me in the foot, okay? We're a team of 4. There's myself, staff sergeant, a tech sergeant, and maybe another staff sergeant, and then the master sergeant. Maybe it was like that. The master sergeant, I would say, was low-key bullying the staff sergeant, right? And the staff sergeant came to me and was crying and all the stuff. And I was like, okay, look, get yourself together, take your time, blah, blah, blah. I think in this scenario, I had told the person, like, go home or do something, and I'll talk with the master sergeant. Not like anything heinous. I'm trying to remove this person from what they have identified as a toxic environment and keep the mission going. And then, like, I'll talk with the master sergeant. Well, the master sergeant took that as if I was overstepping some way. Neither here nor there, because it's in the past. But what I'm sharing is, that person took that moment and completely turned like 180. Not only did they do that, everything that we discussed as friends leading up to that point and just conversation that you would have, whether it be funny, whether it be serious, personal, whatever, shared it, but turned it around in a sense to paint a picture of who I am not. And that crushed me because I'm a woman of integrity. My name means everything to me. I work hard in that office. Let me tell you, our boss did not play. Okay. She was in law enforcement on the outside. I'm going to say she was an agent and I'll leave it there. And baby, she didn't play. I had endured growing pains. And so to have someone come in and abase my character, to have someone come in and use words or moments, stories, exaggerate or exacerbate a scenario to try and paint a picture in a way that just was not it, hurt me to the core, and vulnerability went out the door. From that moment, and that was maybe 2018 to, I would say, presently, I would say maybe 2023, it was hard for me to be vulnerable in a work environment. It was hard for me to be friendly. It was hard for me to make friends at work because I realized I could no longer cross the two. I can no longer allow those two to mesh at that time. Heck, we're in 2024, so that was several years, y'all. And I'm like, I'm not being vulnerable again. Not only am I not being vulnerable at work, I'm definitely not being vulnerable in it just had a ripple effect. But what I realized is I was hurting myself more when I transitioned from that tour and I took a civilian job in California at a police department. I didn't allow my most authentic true self to show. I was very militant and structured and I'm to myself and I don't really want to hang out with anyone outside of work because of the experience that I had. But the only person losing in that scenario is me. It took so much more energy out of me to not be myself than it does to be myself. Fast forward to present day, I now have a healthier relationship with myself in knowing it's okay to be you. It's okay to open up. It's okay to allow people in, but it's also okay to have a healthy boundary. All right, y'all. That is my vulnerability example because that really trickled down and impacted me in more ways than one. And I'm happy to be delivered from that and walking in my most authentic, true, and real self. All right, let's continue on with this episode. So how I would summarize that is by allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, we create a space for self-discovery as well as personal growth. And we navigate new beginnings. Rather than resisting change or clinging to familiarity, vulnerability allows us to lean into discomfort and embrace the unknown with courage, courage, and openness. We can also pull away from that story and forging deeper relationships. Vulnerability also plays a vital role in building deeper connections with oneself, right? With ourselves, but also with others. Look, y'all, when we authentically share our thoughts, feelings, experiences with others, we create opportunities for empathy, understanding, but also connection. So I'm hoping that in that story I shared with you, we only create a deeper bond and a deeper connection. And as we continue on in this journey and as I continue to share, that you will learn more about me. We will build that rapport. We will build that relationship. You will follow me on social media platforms where I can learn more about you. You will also reach out. We can continue to learn about each other, y'all. Okay. Anyway, get back to this. Let me get back to it. Vulnerability also allows us to invite others in, foster deeper bonds based on those mutual trust and authenticity. And I think that's what I was alluding to when I made mention of having that healthy boundary. Now, can I trust this person with my authenticity? Because this is pure. This is heavenly. This is going to build you up. But are you worth that? Are you going to be worth that light, worth that energy, worth that time? Because I won't ever be able to get that back. And that's okay to have that healthy boundary there, that standard for yourself. Y'all probably going to watch this like this girl moved around so many times. Mind your business. Embracing vulnerability in relationships cultivates intimacy as well as emotional intimacy. So this is more like a romantic relationship. It allows you to connect at a deeper level. That requires courage, y'all, as well as strength to be vulnerable. And it involves risking rejection or judgment. However, the reward of vulnerability includes greater authenticity, emotional intimacy, and a sense of belonging. Okay, so there's a woman, she's a professor and a social worker. I'm so hesitant about mentioning names, y'all, so I'm gonna say it's B. Brown. But if y'all know, y'all know. And she did extensive work in vulnerability, shame, as well as resilience. And I just want to share some of the nuggets that she has discovered with you. So her extensive research in shame as well as vulnerability has really been groundbreaking, y'all. In her work, she defines vulnerability as the core of all emotions and feelings. And she emphasizes cultivating those authentic connections with others. She highlights that vulnerability is essential for building resilience. Hey, we talked about resilience, empathy, as well as meaningful relationships. Okay, she breaks down healthy vulnerability like this, y'all. It involves taking emotional risk and being open to connection, but unhealthy vulnerability can stem from shame and fear of rejection. There goes those healthy boundaries. She emphasizes the importance of vulnerability in fostering empathy, compassion, and belonging. Okay, let's talk about attachment theory. I'm going to break down attachment styles later on as we progress. That's why you have to stay in this journey of self-healing and self-growth. Subscribe and become an official IGU baby, an eternal glow up baby, because we're going to deep dive into attachment theory, baby. We're going to talk about inner healing of the inner child. Like, there's so much goodness. But just real quick, we're going to touch on attachment theory in this episode, but not elaborate. All right. Attachment theory is like experiences related to patterns on how you attach essentially to others throughout your life. There are different attachment styles out there. They look like secure attachment, anxious or avoidant attachment, and I will go into those, but you can also do some of your own research. if we're looking at humanistic psychology, I'm about to hit y'all with all the psychology stuff today. You want to look at, or that humanistic psychology views vulnerability as a natural and essential aspect of human experiences necessary for self-discovery, personal growth, and meaningful connections with others. Now, what do y'all continue to hear as we discuss vulnerability? Connection. There we go. Good job. Yes, connection, belongingness. Okay, y'all? So this is deeper than, oh, I want to open up. It's having the ability to be authentic, build those effective and genuine relationships, being able to connect, okay, through trust. Don't just go out here being all vulnerable. Oh, do not be me when I was at AFRC, the Air Force Reserve Command, in the beginning, okay? When you find yourself being like, hey, everybody, yes, come on over to my house. Yes, you can come through. I'll cook for you. I'll help you take your hair down. You can hang out with me. Well, you can cry on my shoulder. Listen, have that healthy boundary. Do not be me at AFRC, okay? Just remember that. Let that play in your head. Do not be Davone'a at AFRC. We also have cognitive behavioral theory. I like cognitive behavioral theory. I'll reference it quite often on papers that I need to write in school. This theory focuses on identifying and challenging negative thought patterns and beliefs that contribute to emotional distress. So vulnerability in this aspect may address and explore by reframing our beliefs, our maladaptive beliefs, so that's multiple beliefs in one, about vulnerability, shame, and self-worth. We really talk about this throughout this session or throughout this month of April, and preparing our minds and the reframing. We're preparing for new beginnings. We're cultivating resilience. We're focusing on a growth mindset. We're doing all the things. So I just love how this is coming together. Don't forget to lean in on your community. Maybe you want to start small. Don't go out here being vulnerable with everybody. But who's your trusted circle? Maybe you want to start there. Maybe you want to be vulnerable with yourself. Take some time to reflect and think on the experiences and the emotions that you have that you may not have unpacked yet, that you may not informed other people of. Be vulnerable with you. By that way, you can be vulnerable with others. And that looks like being real with yourself. That's what I'm saying. Be real with yourself. All right, y'all, it's time for our practical steps. We're coming toward the conclusion of this episode. Our first practical step is acknowledging and embracing our vulnerability. So you want to take the time to acknowledge and accept your vulnerability as a natural and a valid part of the human experience, because it is. Recognize that it is okay to feel uncertain, scared, or exposed when embarking on new beginnings. Number 2 is share your authentic self with someone. Maybe you're goofy. Maybe you are creative. You draw, you write music, you write poetry. Maybe you're a designer at heart. Maybe you like to play an instrument of the sort. I don't know what it is. Maybe you like to sing your ABCs backwards. But be your most authentic self. Identify trusted individuals in your life with whom you can safely share your thoughts, feelings, and fears about the new beginning. Let me tell you, y'all getting authentic me, but my most authentic me, look, my family's gonna know about it. The man I'm with gonna know about it. Because there's just some things that y'all not gonna know. There's some Snapchats that my sister sent me from back in the day, and I'm like, why was I doing that? I just don't know. I told her thank you. She will always keep me humble no matter where I go in life. But having that safe space, okay? What that might look like is having open and honest communication, being able to express your vulnerabilities and concern openly in your trusted circle. Allow yourself to be seen and heard authentically without fear or rejection or criticism. And you might want to rehearse what that conversation might look like so that it builds up your confidence when you go to that trusted circle. Practical step number 3, reframe vulnerability as a catalyst for growth and connection. Yes. Next episode is about growth mindset. This episode has been about vulnerability, but if you heard, quite often connectedness came up. So shift your perspective on vulnerability by reframing and looking at your personal growth and the deeper connections that you'll form. So you can recognize that vulnerability, it fosters authenticity, empathy, as well as intimacy in relationships. You want to challenge those negative thoughts. You can practice gratitude for the growth and connection that vulnerability brings into your life. You want to celebrate the courage it takes to embrace vulnerability and recognize the strength and resilience that it builds within you. Okay, I'm going to give y'all this scripture that's applicable to it all. Hebrews chapter 10, verses 24 through 25. And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. And I encourage you in your trusted circle to be vulnerable. Thank you for tuning into today's episode of the Conscious Courage podcast. If you enjoyed today's discussion and you want to continue on this journey together, be sure to subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, like, share with at least 3 to 5 of your loved ones, your friends, your coworkers. Y'all, it's only 4 things I'm asking you to do, just 4. Until next time, stay courageous, conscious, and keep glowing from within. Remember, it takes courage to be conscious, and courage is the key to conscious living. I love y'all, and I'll see you next week. Disclaimer: as a content creator with a background in psychology and ongoing studies in mental health clinical counseling at the graduate level, it is important to clarify that I am not a licensed professional, okay, y'all? The videos and podcasts I produce are intended for educational, entertainment, and transformational purposes only. While I strive to provide accurate information and insight, it's essential to consult with a licensed mental health professional for clinical perspectives and personalized advice tailored to your specific needs. Your mental well-being is the utmost importance to me, and seeking guidance from a qualified provider is encouraged for any concerns or issues that you may be experiencing.